The Texas Longhorns are 1-3 for the first time since 1956. I don't know the last time they started a season 1-4. That's what it looks like in facing TCU, but the Longhorns looking better in recent weeks may give TCU a game. We bring in Sean Cordy from Today's U to talk up the Horned Frogs and the Horns. Sean, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with the TCU offense with Trevon Boykin putting up record numbers again. The big 55-52 win at Lubbock was one of the more exciting games of the year. So how are you looking at the Horned Frogs on offense against Texas defense?
Oh, well, we'll say that the TCU offense is doing great. They're fulfilling their destiny from last year. But what's going to make them keep going at this rate is that Texas has an atrocious defense so far. They were able to stop Mason Rudolph a little bit last week, but based off of their performance last year where they ranked in the top 25 pretty much in every metric, Texas ranks near the top 10 at bottom this year in pretty much everything. And I don't see them stopping Trevon Boykin at all. Boykin is especially strong at home. He averages about 4 touchdowns to 1 interception when he plays at home compared to when he plays away, which is about less than 2 touchdowns and more than 1 interception a game. So Boykin's incredibly strong at home, and there's no stopping Doctson at this point. Doctson had 17 catches last week, and as much that might come to bite Boykin in the future, but Texas's quarterbacks, even Duke Thomas, hasn't done much to stop other receivers this year. So I see them just keep on rolling at this point.
So, Sean, when you say that this may come back to bite TCU in the future, are you talking about going too much to Josh Doctson?
Yeah, I was looking at the stats. Doctson is very similar. I mean, Doctson and Boykin, they're one of the top duos in the nation right now. But when you look at players like most recently at Alabama, you have Amari Cooper. When he had less than 10 receptions in a game, Alabama lost their 2 only games last year. So if Boykin can't start learning how to throw to other receivers, he only has, I think, 2 other receivers with more than 10 receptions. Doctson has 37 on the season, I believe. So he's really relying on him. If they can, if a defense can learn how to shut Doctson down, that's going to start affecting Boykin's progress as well.
Colby Listenby arrived on campus with a lot of fanfare. Maybe he can step up into that role as well. Aaron Green's a kid that we don't hear a whole lot about on a national scale, considering the star running backs like Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott that get a lot of pub, but he may have saved TCU's season last year with that catch, and he's even better on the ground. If you watch the fourth quarter, as I did, of the game, I didn't see the first 3 quarters, but they went off tackle on a couple drives just primarily with Green and were able to tear up the Red Raiders on defense.
Yeah, coming into the season, I like Green a lot. I think he was my 2A, 2B running back in the conference behind Pirine and Shock Linwood, but he's one of the fastest, most agile running backs I've seen in a while, and he hasn't done too much lately until like that fourth quarter and that huge play at the end, which as much as a fluke, it was – you can't say too many players can do that kind of play. He's a special player that they'll probably start relying on more to try to divert the attention from Doctson and Boykin.
Yeah, it's pretty much half fluke and half just athletic play. Yes, it was a fluke that the ball got tipped in a vicinity that a TCU player could make a play on it. But for Aaron Green to keep the foot in bounds, make the dive, make the catch, that's just great athleticism. That's all there is to that. So Texas on offense has been down for several years now. It's been the defense that's won most of the games. They have had a little bit more life under Gerrod Heard at quarterback in place of Tyrone Swoops. Just your evaluation on Heard's play. Had 2 pretty explosive games earlier against Rice and against Cal, not so much against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, they kind of learned how to stop Heard a little bit, especially at running, but Heard's still providing that running ability that Swoops was supposed to last year. That kind of made them struggle. He's also been one of the most efficient quarterbacks passing-wise. He doesn't do it too often. He usually looks to the run. He has almost 300 yards in his 3 starts. So that's an incredible stat for him. But what I'm mostly looking at is how the Longhorns keep using Swoops. I see them as kind of a J.W. Walsh, Mason Rudolph kind of situation over at Oklahoma State. Swoops provides that kind of red zone wildcat that Walsh has provided for Oklahoma State. They did it against Oklahoma State last week as well, where Swoops had a score within the 5-yard line. So I could see them using him in scoring positions to try to keep Heard healthy and as efficient as he has been for the past few weeks. But it's also important to note he's been sacked 12 times, which is one of the highest rates in the nation. So if they want to win, they have to take advantage of TCU's weak or depleted defense at this point. Keep him safe and look to the air as well.
Texas almost upset Oklahoma State in Austin last weekend, 30-27. They had 2 defensive touchdowns in that game. 62-22 series lead. So how do you see this one playing out?
I can't see TCU losing at home. They've been too dominant altogether, but at home especially, as I mentioned, Boykin is fantastic at home. Most quarterbacks are, but Boykin seems especially comfortable in Fort Worth.
Sean Cordy from Today's U joining us to preview TCU in Texas. Thanks, Sean.
No problem.